Hey, hello investors and future investors. Welcome to the channel. For today's video, I'm going to show you one of the best option strategy out there that allows you to never lose. I'm going to show you how this option strategy can be used even if you're trading with a small account. Now, if you're new to options trading, or you have a 9 to 5 and you want to use option trading in order to get that extra money while maintaining your 9 to 5, then you so happen to stumble onto the right video. Welcome to Investment Gains. Let's jump right into it. Welcome back, investors and future investors. My name is Tim, and on this channel, I show you how I use my portfolio in order to make consistent income. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you one of the best option strategies out there that I personally use in my portfolio. I'm going to show you how I use this option strategy in order to grow my portfolio consistently over time. I'm going to give you a walkthrough of this option strategy. I'm going to show you a slight tweak to this option strategy in order for it to maximize your return. And lastly, I'm going to show you some real life proof of how I'm able to capitalize on this option strategy. Now, you guys know how we do it on this channel. We're going to go ahead and get down and dirty with options. Now, for today's video, we're going to be using none other than Robinhood Markets, ticker HOOD. So firstly, we're going to walk through the option strategy. And for that, let's go ahead to trade hood options to the bottom in order for it to open up the option chain. Now, the option chain is this huge area down here. And what this area does is that this area gives us enough information in order for us to make a very informed decision. Now, for this option strategy, as you guys know, I am what's known as an income option seller, which means I sell options in order to generate consistent income. So, for us to start off, we first need to go to sell. And then we're going to go to call. Now, before we get into our strike date, I need you guys to do yourself two favors. Favor number one, always make sure you do your own due diligence before investing. Favor number two, always make sure you have an exit strategy before entering any option contracts. Now that we have sell and we have call, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose our strike price. In order to maximize the efficiency of this option strategy, it is highly advisable that you choose your strike price above the current share price. As you can see down here, the current share price is trading around $43.39. So now we're going to go up and we're going to look for a strike price that suits our fancy. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to settle for the $55 strike price. And for the $55 strike price, because we're going to be selling something, we're going to be receiving money. The amount of money we're going to be receiving is going to be 0.31 in the option world. In the real world, 0.31 right here works out to be $31, which is going to be 0.31 multiplied by 100 because each option contract contains 100 shares. Let's go ahead, let's click into it. And there you have it. One of the best option strategies out there is going to be the covered call option strategy. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail with the covered call option strategy because I have several videos on it. This video is to show you how you could use this option strategy in order for you to maximize your returns and how you could use it over time to grow your account portfolio. So why did I go ahead and choose the $55 strike price right here? One of the main reasons for that is because I have what's known as a high chance of profitability. The chance of profitability I have at the $55 strike price is going to be 92.4. Now, with a 92.4 chance of profitability, that also gives you an 8% chance that the trade is going to go against you. So although you have a high chance of profitability, there's still a chance the trade works out against you. Now, the reason why this option strategy is one of the best option strategy out there is because it's known as a win-win option strategy. Now, first of all, the criteria in order for you to do a covered call option strategy. In order for you to do the covered call option strategy, either of two criteria must be met. Criteria number one is going to be you need to own 100 shares of the stock. If you were to buy 100 shares of the stock right now, it would cost you about $4,340. You simply multiply 4340 by 100, and that's going to give you the total cost. Once you now own 100 shares, that is when, and that is only when, you will be able to sell consistent covered calls and receive income. And that is one way you use this option strategy to grow your account portfolio. Now, the other criteria that has to be met in order for you to do the covered calls is you need to be able to control 100 shares of the stock in order for you to do the covered calls. So by now you've learned two things. There are two types of covered calls. You have your regular covered calls, which is this one, which you sell consistent covered calls when you own 100 shares or more of the stock. The other one is known as a LEAPS option or a long call. LEAP stands for long-term equity anticipation securities. It is a mouthful. That's why we say LEAPS. Now, here's a fun fact for you. One is going to be a LEAPS. Two, you guessed it, is still going to be a LEAPS. Good. Once you're able to control 100 shares of a stock by the way of using the LEAPS option, then that allows you to go ahead and sell covered calls. Now, here is the beautiful thing about the LEAPS option. If you're trading with a small account, the LEAPS option is going to allow you to control 100 shares for about a fourth of the price, or sometimes a third of the price of what you actually have to pay to own the stock outright. Now, I do have videos about the LEAPS option, so I'm not going to get into that right now. So those are the two ways that you could use the covered call option strategy in order to grow your account portfolio. By selling calls consistently over time, you need to choose a very high chance of profitability if you want to stay in the game in the long run. Now, you can, however, go to a lesser chance of profitability, and what that's going to do is that it's going to give you even more premium. Remember, the only person that can make a decision about your portfolio is always going to be you. So now that you know one of the best option strategies out there in order to help you grow your account portfolio, and you know the two criteria that has to be present in order for you to go ahead and do this option strategy, now I'm going to go ahead and show you live example using this exact same stock and show you the returns. So now I'm going to go ahead and give you a brief history of how I was able to make lots of money with this stock, even though we all know currently we're in a market that's giving us a slight pullback. So as you can see here, this is what's called a long call roll, and that brought in $90 premium. This here is a sell call that brought in $95. Now, if you look at the dates of this is the exact same date, and that netted me $185. Now, going down further, you guys can see here, I actually closed off one of my sell calls and I closed it off for $40. The reason I closed it off for $40 is because the market is in constant decline. So the covered calls are experiencing very high profitability very, very early. Below that, you can see some additional money from covered calls. And I'm going to show you one LEAPS option that I do have in my portfolio. And here it is. So I did purchase a LEAPS option on March 20th, expiring January 16, 2026. And I paid $1,200 for that. Since I was able to acquire that LEAPS option, I was able to go ahead and sell consistent covered calls. The amount of money I generated on those covered calls from March 20th till today, which is March 26th, is going to be your $30 here. It's going to also be your $25 here, your $95 here, and your $90 here. And then we're going to subtract the $40 here that I close out one position. That is going to net me around $240. Now, if you were to take your $240 and you divide it by your $1,200 in which I paid to acquire this LEAPS option, you will see that gave me a return of around $240, which represents a 20% return. Now, once again, we are in a market that's constantly declining, and the covered call option strategy is generating around a 20% return in just a week. That is why I keep saying this is one of the best option strategies out there. Now, if you guys need any information on how to roll your LEAPS option in order for you to get additional income, or you want to know how to sell covered calls and roll those as well in order to get additional income, then just go ahead and leave me a comment below. So I will leave you with this. The covered call option strategy is one of the best option strategy out there. Whether you're new to options, whether you're trading with a small account portfolio or a big account portfolio, this option strategy could help you grow that portfolio and get you consistent income over time. Not only does it have those advantages, it allows you to own the stock. So in addition to getting consistent income, you will realize what's known as stock appreciation, or what I like to call on this channel, investment gains. But overall, the covered call option strategy, if you're new to options, I highly suggest that you check out this option strategy. Now, if you made it to the end of this video, go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel. On this channel, I specialize in helping people with smaller accounts portfolio grow that account portfolio safely and consistently over time. Go ahead also and hit the notification bell. That's going to allow you to get an alert whenever I post a video. And lastly, if you need any help with this option strategy or any other income generating option strategy, then go ahead and join the weekly income team. The link is going to be in the description below. And until the next video, keep pushing your investments.